I know a lot of people watching this will feel like they need to delegate something because there's not enough time in the day to do everything that needs to be done to run their channels. So maybe you can talk us through a few of the other roles just so that viewers can actually understand what can be delegated. So you've already told us you have the titler at the top doing the sort of titles and packaging. What other team members do you have for each channel?
So we have, a director who is director, creative producer, however we define the role. That's the person who's like the chief executive almost of the creative vision. So they're doing that. Otherwise, we have, depending on the channel, sometimes we have a content strategist who is like separate, who is able to help with the title and thumbnail packaging and the video idea selection and making sure that we're like consistently on track in that regard. That sometimes happens. Or the director themselves can do that role depending on how skilled they are. And then otherwise, those are kind of like senior roles. The rest of them aren't management roles. So it would be just a voiceover actor, the script writer, the animators, the sound designer, the editor. And those, for every channel we have like those people. Some of those roles cross across channels. So for example, sound designers don't really take very long, so we can have them do multiple channels. But animators, they take like an entire month to make a video. So they obviously have to stick to one channel. So it depends on the role and how we mix that. But generally, we try and keep them separate because that kind of means that team members can kind of feel like, this is the channel I'm working on, and this is what I'm going to like focus and care about. Compared to just like, okay, I'm going to do the animation any video I get given, which is kind of like, I can make it good, I can make it bad. Doesn't really matter so much. So that's kind of a difference, which helps.
Do you incentivize your staff based on channel performance?
Yeah, so we have like various systems for that, which is something I'm very into. I enjoy doing that and setting that up and talking about it. So for the director, for the creative producer, that person is going to get a profit share of the channel. So either that's going to be the AdSense money minus the production expenses and the profit of that, or if the channel is quite expensive, then there's not going to be any profit from that. So we do total revenue like AdSense, sponsorships, merchandise money minus expenses, and then the profit of that. So it depends on that. We also do percentage of the AdSense revenue of various roles, which I think is really beneficial. So for example, animators, if we just pay them per minute of animation, which is like a typical structure. So like every minute they animate, they get like a fixed price. That's one model which we use. But if we only do that, then they are basically incentivized to make as many minutes as they can in a month. And that's fine, but it does mean they can potentially rush and therefore the quality is not as good. So what I try and do is like mix the fixed incentive, which might be an hourly pay, it might be a per minute fee, it might be a salary. Mix that with like, what is the opposite incentive? So if somebody is on a salary, they may not be motivated towards growth. Okay, well, how do I solve that? I create a profit share, which then they're more interested in growing the channel because they benefit from it. So like find the opposite, which kind of like compensates for whatever the compensation is. So for animators, we do percentage of the AdSense. So they get like 5% of the AdSense in the first 30 days of the video. And that's a model which I think can work with editors nicely as well. So if people have editors, then if you get enough views on AdSense, then you can say, okay, 5% of the AdSense in the first 30 days, I'm going to give you as a bonus. And that incentivizes them to care about quality. They care about the intro more. And the intro being good is obviously going to affect the retention. Retention means better video. Better video means better views. So it really helps to just basically align everyone on quality. And yeah, just like per role, figure out what those are and set something up.
That's really interesting to hear about because I know a lot of viewers will be watching this thinking, I'd love to hire someone and get my time back, but I can't imagine the person I hire caring that much about my channel and creating, giving me as high quality work as I do myself. So what you're doing there is finding ways to solve that issue.
Exactly. It's trying to create an incentive that causes them to manage themselves towards quality in the same way that I would myself. And that means I don't need to spend so much time trying to like tell them to fix things because it should already just be good. Now there are exceptions, of course, and you still got to manage people and give feedback sometimes, but generally it helps a lot for that particular issue. One more thing I would say about that is there is in my mind I have this like model which is there is my personal vision of like how this video should be, and there is also what is going to be on average for the viewer, a good quality video. And sometimes we can get, as creators, we can kind of get mixed up between the idea of my vision is what the viewers definitely want to see, is the best thing the viewers want to see, compared to my vision is like, I don't know, 90% accurate. But that final 10%, if it's one way or another, if it's like this type or this type, like if I really think about it and I talk to viewers, it turns out they don't really care about this kind of difference. And it's easy to pretend that like they do care about just my vision, which is like A, but actually they don't. And it's just like A or B. So kind of getting up the last 10% of quality and saying, you know, it doesn't really matter too much, as long as you know the video is generally good. I think that's really important as well, because it's very easy to get lost in trying to have somebody you're managing do exactly what you want to do, because you're justifying it as, because if I don't do that, the viewers aren't going to like the video. But actually, you might be wrong. You might be just creating a unnecessary roadblock in your mind in terms of how much viewers actually care about those small differences at the end.
And I guess your staff could eventually start to resent you if they feel like you're micromanaging them, you know, to that level.
Definitely.
But giving them some freedom, because and realizing that it not being exactly like you would do it isn't going to make a huge difference, but they get way more freedom in that process, right?
Yeah, and that's also really important as well. That's the flip side of it is, okay, so firstly, you save more time if you don't try and focus too much on the last 10% quality. Secondly, if you let somebody do a video and you don't give them too many micromanaging notes, then you're essentially kind of saying to them, like implicitly, like, I trust you to do what's best for the channel. And that is like a thing that would make them go, okay, well, I'm going to care more because like I'm trusted to care, and therefore I'm going to care more. As long as they got the right incentive, which you know, depends, and as long as they're like the right person who generally is interested in your content, those are important things. But if you have like the right person in the role, then if you give them autonomy, they're going to kind of like step up and they're going to care more. If you have the wrong person in the role, then yes, that may not happen. But assuming you have the right person, more autonomy is better. Therefore, being flexible in those last details of your vision, last 10%, can definitely help to just make them more interested in doing a great job without you kind of looking.